Good day everyone and welcome to a new edition of Telegram Talks. My guest today is Lavly Perling, recently appointed by the Moldovan Parliament to be one of the members to conduct the external evaluation for judges looking to advance to their positions in the Supreme Court of Justice in Moldova and other high-ranking judicials. Mrs. Perling, welcome.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, it depends.
First of all, tell me, we see our perspective of external evaluation. What, from your perspective, means to evaluate a candidate for high-ranking positions in the judicial system in Moldova?
Thank you. Very short answer is very simple answer. Vetting is a check of integrity of judges, of prosecutors, and the second very simple message is that the aim of a vetting is very clear, more reliable legal system. And I think this is the common ground wherever we look the process, from Moldova perspective, from Ukrainian perspective, from EU perspective, from Estonia perspective. But maybe before we start to talk about vetting, it's important to talk about, I believe, two very important aspects. First of all, why we are here. The reason is corruption. And I think it's important always, remember everywhere and every time, that corruption makes state weak and people poor. The second allegation from my side is also very simple. I have been more than 24 years prosecutor in Estonia. I started as prosecutor of organized crime. I finished as prosecutor general. Today I have worked for Ukraine, and today I am here, and I try to give the best for Moldova. And what I see, that for success against lifestyle crimes, corruption is lifestyle crime, tax crimes, economic crimes. There are three very important aspects what we need that to be successful. First of all, we need political will to fight. We need efficient law. And the third, we need motivated fighters.
And we have all of them right now in Moldova?
I see, and this is my perspective, I see that you have political will, and not only in Moldova, but I see also that in international community, this is a strong political will to fight against that kind of crimes. If we talk about efficient law, then yes, we can always argue, is it efficient or this is not efficient? And again, at the end of the day, the question is not only in reform here today. It will never be ready, because democracy is democracy. And
it always
this
evolves.
Is always, yes, we always must protect it and build up and so on. But efficient law, and if I say motivated fighters, then it's important to say that we need the motivated fighters in whole chain and in every level.
That's what I see, or we, the society, see right now. Apparently we have political will, but I'm not sure we have the motivated fighters in the system. Does this mean that the reform or the evaluation cannot be successful because of this?
I have seen my country from the end of the 90s, when there were 400 murders per year. And I saw my country when I was prosecutor general, when there were a little bit more than 40 murders. 10 times less. It's hard work. It's everyday work. It's necessary to change the culture And I still believe that recipe of a successful country, again, this is very simple. We need a strong economy. We need really established rule of law. This is not slogan. This is something very real. And you need, but what else we need? I believe we need a young generation. Why I answer through the three components? Because quite often people in Ukraine and also here in Moldova ask from me how it happened that you in Estonia are where you are and we are here. And I say that, I don't know how, I don't know who exactly, but I think leaders of our countries made some very good decisions. And exactly the answer is in the three aspects. They really decided that we need strong economy, because if we have strong economy, when people have some kind of hope, they want to tie their future with a country. When we really have rule of law, this is the system where people are equal. Are you minister or are you simple workers? The law is the same for everybody. There are no untouchables. And rule is simple, process are transparent, simple words. But behind the simple words is hard work. So if your question is it possible to find the motivated fighters here in Moldova, then my answer is yes, of course. Because I see in everyday work here in Moldova, if I work with young lawyers in our commission, when I see the future, I see the motivated fighters of the future, and not only in our secretariat. I think I see them wider and everywhere.
Speaking of Estonia, did Estonia in the 90s have big problems with the justice system as we do? You somehow suggested that yes. It's interesting for me and for the audience also. What happened? What did you do? Was it solved just with the political will, or did you have external evaluation? Did you have some other type of justice reform in order to get to this goal where you are right now?
Still, the first step was political will. We wanted. The second, it was ambitious. We wanted to be part of EU. We wanted to be part of NATO. We loved our country. We wanted to be independent. We want to be like people in Finland, free, wealthy.
So you had an example.
Examples, yeah. And we dreamed about the future. Now the answer about the judiciary. Yes, the reasons in the end of the 90s were quite similar. In one day we felt, because we also came from Soviet system. That means that the system was inefficient and the history was as the history was. And suddenly we started to feel that the same, that people don't trust judiciary. Why? Because they don't understand. When, for example, police arrest somebody who is corrupted or some kind of member of organized crime, when prosecutor release them or judges decide that the people are not guilty, and people didn't trust the system because they didn't understand. And it was 2003, because you need at the end of the day reforms in whole chain. Because if you have totally efficient and very good prosecutor office, but you don't have the court system, or you don't have motivated fighters in investigative bodies, then it doesn't work. Because very simple answer is, again, at the end of the day, people want to understand, and people want results. They want their bicycles back. They don't care who is guilty and why it takes too long time. And so no trust. The second reason was that the system itself, or the process, criminal procedure, was totally inefficient. It took too much time, and people didn't understand why. The third, we didn't have money enough that to pay normal salary to good lawyers, for prosecutor,
what
for
does
judges.
mean normal salaries?
Normal salary, because this is not secret. If we started as prosecutor, I started in 1996 when, like young people everywhere, in the beginning of a month, it was possible to go and buy food. In the middle of a month, it wasn't anymore. We collected money and bought bread and tea. It was life in the end of the 90s. But ambitious and dream and dream of future, they motivated. And the reform of prosecutor office took place 2004, and we changed. They were quite painful changes.
What exactly happened?
Exactly, we changed, for example, the structure of a prosecutor office. 2/3 of prosecutors couldn't continue as prosecutors. They continued as assistant prosecutors.
Okay.
It was big change. It was very emotional. I can tell you, 15 years later, there were prosecutors who asked from me when the reform will be turned back. It is difficult, but it is painful, maybe, for members of a system. But at the same time, it was important. It was important to make the system. And the structure, the changes in the law. Today, we have a lot of simplified proceedings, for example. And 90% of the cases go to the court through the simplified proceedings. That means that defense lawyer and prosecutor make agreement, they go to court, and we don't waste time of a court, because time for the judges,
of a court, state funds,
of defense lawyers, of a people,
exactly.
Of everybody. Today the system, but still, of course, we have always the scandals that some cases take too much time, and it's normal everywhere. But very specific decisions, simplified proceedings, simple structure, less prosecutors.
From what I understand, in your case, in Estonia's case, you did not have an external evaluation. It was the political will who transformed the general prosecutor's office, adopted new laws, and the system moved forward with this new way of acting, of activating. I am correctly understanding?
Yes, it wasn't external vetting or evaluation. We did it ourselves. But yes, of course, political will, this is only one aspect. Just one example. For example, for the reform, prosecutor started work in Minister of Justice and prepare the reform, and it's very important, because in this way the prosecutors also take some kind of responsibility. So the key word here is cooperation, and again, the cooperation not only as a slogan, but real cooperation. So that decision makers, lawmakers, practitioners, they work together and they understand what is the aim of a reform. And
do you see this in Moldova, that all the system is cooperant into moving and pushing this reform forward?
I am not expert of Moldova. I cannot say that I am expert of Moldova or expert of Ukraine. I see that this is quite similar, and I think this is sign of young societies that the cooperation between the institutions is not strong enough, and it takes time. But this is obligation of leaders to demand the cooperation and always think through the perspective of simple people. Because I always like to ask from my colleagues, what's the point of your work? And the answer that I send the criminal cases to the court was wrong answer. You must feel that your duty is to create justice. And yes, it seems like slogan, or this is very big word, but that's the question of a mentality. If you go to work every morning.
The mentality is very hard to change. Sometimes it takes years or decades. Speaking of duration, at the beginning of this process of pre-vetting, vetting, the public opinion in Moldova was very happy with the external evaluation. We understood that we can't do it by ourselves. At least that's what we have seen when watching the prosecutors, when watching the judges. After more than 1 year of actions, in the society there is appeared some kind of doubt. It's taking a lot of time, it's taking years, it's taking funds, a lot of funds, it costs us a lot of money. What does your experience say when we will be able to see the results of the pre-vetting and the vetting?
It depends what kind of results. First of all, I think that the vetting itself already is result. And from our side, I think it's important to understand that the aim of a vetting, the aim of a reform is more reliable legal system. If you see that the people start to trust the system more and more and more, it will be the final result. You see, I think the challenges of the vetting processes are quite similar everywhere. Communication. It's really important everyday talk with people. That's not enough all the time to talk about how corrupted our system is, how hopeless it is. No, I think here we are. And I believe that all the members of the vetting commission, we feel that yes, vet the subjects, this is our everyday work. But again, the mission, I think this is to give our peace to the Moldova or to the rule of law. And again, why I think it's important to just talk with people and explain that the rule of law itself is not just a term. If people trust the legal system, when in very difficult situations, because people in everyday life, they don't need judges or prosecutor or investigators. They need a judiciary system when they have some kind of big troubles. And
they want to see justice in that moment.
Yes, they want justice, and they want effective system, and they want some kind of support by the state. And the second, and this is not less important, if we talk about corruption, I always like to say that corruption is not legal term, it's much more economy term. I mean that if you have a reliable system, investments can come here. Investments don't come if you don't have a reliable legal system. So the first challenge always is communication. The second is speed. Because expectations are high, we want very specific results now. like
yes,
you ask,
yes.
where are results?
Right now.
And I say, here are results, the vetting take place. And I believe that this is hard work, step by step. The system will be cleaner because, again, vetting is at the same time opportunity and consequences. Opportunity, that means that here we are and we try to clean the system. Why? Because the self-cleaning system, which should be the most efficient,
but it's
work.
Not working.
Yes,
it's not
it
working.
Doesn't work. That's why we are here. And but the speed, yes, I believe we understand. We understand the deadlines. We understand that people want quick results, but at the same time, quality of a work is also important and part of rule of law. Maybe the third challenge is skepticism about the result. And again, talk. It's necessary to talk. It's necessary to show, maybe also, and show also transparency of a process. Because people don't understand the processes when they don't understand what does it means or how the process works. So just transparency and communication. And of course, I believe like everywhere, it was in Ukraine, it was in Estonia, and this is the same here. Not all the people wait the results of a vetting. That means that there are people who work against it, who want status quo. And I repeat the third time, but again, this is only one way to just communicate, explain, and show the results.
Let me challenge you a bit. Because of the external evaluation, we had some resignations in the judicial system because of the pre-vetting in the previous cycle. Now we have some warnings from the General Prosecutor's Office that there is a risk that 50% of the prosecutors could resign because the lack of perspective and some other reasons. That would be a huge risk. That means delays, a lot of delays in the court. That means delays in investigating corruption. How should we look at this? Is this normal? Is this a kind of blackmail? Have you met something like this in the past?
I can confirm that in our commission we discuss about it. That yes, from one side we understand very well that the speed of a process is important, the results are important, but we understand also the responsibility that we cannot stop judiciary in Moldova. This is maybe answer. The second part of my answer is a story from Estonia. You know, if I became prosecutor general, when it was the year when it was necessary open case against one party leader, against some very high level people, and I remember the question from journalists. They asked that, don't you think that Estonia could lose good place in Transparency International Index? And because during 1 year there were a lot of corruption cases in Estonia. And I thought about it, and I answered that no, because even if next year maybe our position is not so good as this year, then I believe that after 5-10 years we will be in a better place. And I can tell you next year in the morning when we published the
index,
table
the result
of the
of the
indexes,
index.
yes, I waited from very early in the morning, and I was really happy that our position was even better than year before. My message is that corruption is something where it's not possible to do some kind of compromises. And it's not possible fight against corruption only with communication or PR. It's not possible. It's painful. And I say the same now in Ukraine. It's not possible to fight against corruption without corruption cases, for example. The corruption cases are always painful because it causes disappointments, but we need them because this is part of cleaning of a system. So my answer is that step by step we are professional and we wish the best for Moldova. And I like the people in Moldova who are judges, who are high-level lawyers, who say that this is not trap for judges or prosecutors. No, I think this is for them. This is for the system.
For improving the system.
Yeah, but yeah.
By the way, speaking of this, we have a thinking in Moldova. I'm not sure it's good or not. I'm hoping to get an answer from you. If a person is good and appreciated by the general public, even if that person had some small mistakes, I don't know, has some black hole images on his image, he deserves to be promoted. From your perspective, a candidate should be ideal, immaculate, when it is verified by the commission, or it's acceptable if he has done some mistakes in the past in his career, or not, or it should be ideal.
Lawyers like to say errare humanum est.
Okay.
That means the people make mistakes.
Because they are human.
Because they are human. And the mistakes in declarations, mistakes in documents, of course it can happen, and all we are humans. So it cannot be reason to be not evaluated. The question is why, the question amount of mistakes, the question is what is
intentional or not,
and the question is, in my opinion, what is important, how the people themselves see the mistake. Because
and you have such situations when you ask the candidate what you believe about this mistake. How do you comment it, yeah?
Yes, first of all, I can talk about, for example, Ukrainian vetting process. And it was very, very often we saw when we asked that you have done here mistake. And they said, yes, I did. Sorry. And it's okay. It's absolutely normal. And but people started to say that why this is not mistake and why and started to argue. It depends the questions. Why just not to say that sorry, I made the mistake. So
it's important to see that the candidate acknowledges that he made a mistake in the process of evaluation.
Yeah. The knowledge, the intention, the background of a mistake, and of course the mistake itself. It's also important. And was it one mistake or hundreds and tens of mistakes and everywhere and all the time? Also, the situations are different, and I believe that we very carefully look all the mistakes and reasons of the mistakes.
Now I want to get to another topic about your cooperation with the institutions, with the public institutions that you are somehow required to collaborate and get information about the candidates. How does it go? Is it easy? Is it difficult to get information about the candidates?
We have very good and strong team in our secretariat, and like I already told, I believe they are future of Moldova, very young generation, smart young people. And of course, I believe they could be here now better answerers. But we get answers. They cooperate. There are always some issues that maybe sometimes we would like to get more information. But this is part of normal negotiations between the institutions, and I really hope that we solve all that kind of challenges.
So basically, sometimes the people in Moldova complain that the institutions in Moldova are very rigid and answering very short, relating to some points in the law. I imagine that you get the same answers, and you would, let me translate, and you would prefer like to get a more extended answer from institutions in some cases.
Yes, sometimes some were, but again, I don't see that this is some kind of huge issue. I believe that this is normal part of work.
In the previous cycle of the pre-vetting, the last year, we had some complaints from the candidates, which were very debatable. One example, candidates should have been provided recipes from 10 years ago, which public opinion found like quite a severe condition. Like not everybody has the recipe of a payment from 10 or 15 years ago. Most of us probably would not find it. How would you look at this condition? Is it tough? Is it okay?
Again, it depends. It depends how the subject
how big is the amount?
Yes, how big is the amount? What is the background of a receipt, or how the candidate explain the circumstances. So the situations are different, but and I believe again that of course this is not all the process not easy for subjects, but from other side, like I told, the vetting is consequences. This is it take place because the self system hasn't worked. Here we are, and we need the answers because at the end of the day, I believe that the society of Moldova wait from us the answers. And if we don't ask uncomfortable questions, then we cannot give the answer. So I think through the normal cooperation, everything is possible.
Mrs. Perling, what are the biggest challenges of the commissions when verifying candidates? Is it easy or is it challenging?
We started hearings on Monday, 27th of November, and I think it's too early to say what will be our final opinion. This is our work. We want to do it. We are motivated, and we are hopeful. We see that a lot of institutions, a lot of partners support us. We see that subjects provide us documents, and I'm always optimist, and I believe that the results of a vetting and the results of a commission will be really useful for Moldova.
Mrs. Perling, we have come to the end at the list of my questions, but maybe I forgot to ask you something. Maybe there is something that you want to tell to the candidates, to the public. Maybe there are some experiences in Estonia or in Ukraine that you would like to refer. We all in Moldova wait for this pre-vetting and vetting to take place as fast as possible, as quality as possible, to get in the end a functional and reliable justice system. What would be your message like for the citizens waiting for this reform? Because I was telling you earlier that we're running a bit out of patience.
I would like to say that Moldova needs strong legal system. Why? Because, as I started, corruption makes state weak and people poor. In my head, Moldova in the future will be beautiful country with happy people who
like
want
Estonians.
to be here, who want to live here, who want to tie their future with their home country. And I repeat the recipe of a successful country. Strong economy, really established rule of law, and young generation. And Moldova needs all of them, and the doors are open now. And I think that everything is possible. And I believe that it's so important to give hope to the people that this is possible, and this is not only the word, that there are a lot of people who work hard that the dream could be the truth.
Mrs. Perling, thank you for coming, for accepting this interview. I wish you good luck in this session of evaluation, and we really hope to get the best results. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dear guests, that was all for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.